I remember we flew into Rostov. So I guess we flew from Salt Lake to, I think it was like Atlanta, and then we flew to Germany, and then to Moscow, then to Rostov. And so flying into Rostov, we got in at some point that night, 8 or 9, 10 that night, and after a 24, 25-hour flight. And we walked in, you get off there there in Russia, or at least the Rostov airport, you get off right on the tarmac. So we got off and got on a little trolley, and it was freezing cold. It was December, mid-December. And we walked in the airport and had no idea. There was 5 of us, two elders and 3 sisters. And we walked through the airport doors, and the mission president, we just kind of looked around, and then I remember someone grabbed me by the arm, and it was my mission president, gave me a hug and said, "You're looking for us. Welcome to the mission," And I remember the first thing he said is, after we all kind of hugged and introduced ourselves, the first thing he said is, "Look around. No one's talking. It's quiet." And that's something that you have to get used to here, because it's not like America. No one's loud, no one talks. It's quiet. So blend in that regard. So from then on, we tried our best to be quiet and make our way out of the airport, and went to the mission home, had a warm bowl of homemade soup from the mission president's wife, and talked for a little bit, and then headed to bed. And then the next day, got up, had breakfast, met our companions, met our trainers, went out shopping at the outdoor markets and bought coats. And again, it was really, really cold. And just kind of got familiar with the lay of the land, had some meetings. And then that evening, we got on a train. It was my first time ever being on a train. Got on a train and rode the train all night long till we got to Sochi, which was my first day, and that was 12 hours from the mission home. So, and then, woke up the next morning, and we were in Sochi. Got off the train and headed to the apartment, and then got to work. There are 3 main zones, or there are 3 zones in our mission, 3 main cities. And the southern zone, from main city to main city, it's about a 4-hour train ride, 4.5-hour train ride. And then the bottommost city is Sochi, and that's a 12-hour train ride from the center of the mission, from the mission home. And then the northern zone, the missionaries, it would typically be about a 9.5-hour bus ride, of which we would usually take at night. So we'd sleep on the bus, which was awesome. And then there were usually, off of the main city, usually 4 or 5 other smaller cities. And in each city was a branch, and there was usually, in the bigger cities, there was 2 or 3 companionships, usually 2 sets of elders and a set of sisters. And then in the smaller ones, some of the smaller ones, there was only 1 set of elders or 2 sets of elders. So that's kind of the general outlay of the mission. In terms of history, interesting facts, when I left the mission, which was about 2 years ago, there were 17 branches. The church, was fairly, 20, 25 years old there. So very, very new, very pioneering experience for sure. The branch members range from all over the place. There's usually a general activity rate of, I'd say like 25, and then in the center cities it was a little bit stronger than that, 50 to 60. And incredible people, for sure, those members. The church, it's new for the members, certainly, and then it's new for the country, and so a lot of people don't know much about LDS or the Mormon culture, and what they do think they know is very wrong, and I'd be scared too if I had heard what they had heard. So what the members do and what they give up is pretty incredible, and all they have really is each other most of the time. Well, the numbers that the missionaries teach is a lot less than a lot of other missions, but there's also a lot less missionaries. And so our mission, when I left, throughout the tenure of my mission, probably averaged around 40, 45. The highest I got, I think, was 63 or 66, and then the lowest when I got there was like 30. So it just kind of ranged in between there. But when there were people to teach, it ranged from, the word of wisdom was a big one. And then people, again, just the myth of Mormonism, when friends would find out that they were being taught, it was really, really hard to overcome what the press said or what had been heard, which is probably common in every area. And then another big one was like cohabitation, or living with someone they weren't married with, or that aspect of it. So knowing what I know now from the beginning is, number one, and this might sound cliche or normal, but not allowing myself to be discouraged and just focusing on the day-to-day. It's really hard there. It's, there's a lot of rejection. And the more you can focus on simply the simple things of missionary work, including just pure obedience, those are the things that carry you, and that allows for the Spirit to carry you throughout, your day-to-day. In terms of, I guess, general organization or things like that, you just kind of learn as you go, And so the language, I think I would have done my best to have established some language study skills, or I guess organization aspects before my mission that could have carried me into the mission, and I think that would have helped a little bit. And then just, again, going back to knowing how to study the scriptures was a big one. I served from October of 2012 to October of 2014. I served in Sochi for 3 transfers, and then I served in West Rostov for 1. And then I served in Center Rostov for, I think, 8. And then the remainder of my mission was spent in Volgograd till I went home.